Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Town of Lexington Planning Commission meeting. This is our normal monthly meeting being held at Town Hall, 8 a.m. Wednesday, January 19th, 2022. This meeting is being broadcast live. The recording of this meeting will be aired on the town's information channel 1301 several times during the week and will be also available on the town's website. I'm Frank Berry, the chairman of the Town of Lexington Planning Commission. Other Planning Commission present members are
Good morning, Jarrett Harrelson.
Morning, Roscoe Kaufman.
Morning, I'm Brian Amick.
Good morning, I'm Jamie Fight.
Morning, I'm Joe Robertson.
Good morning, I'm Brett Poole, Town Administrator.
Good morning, I'm Ron Williams, Town Council.
Good morning, I'm Brad Cunningham, Town Attorney.
Please join me in invocation. Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for this time together to come as a body in a town to discuss the direction of the town. Be with this group as we do that. Be with those who are sick and ill and recovering from any illnesses, and be with those who protect and serve our country every day. In your name we pray, amen. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Got a pretty large crowd today. Not used to seeing that, but it's good. I will now call the meeting to order. Do we have any deletions of the agenda? I believe there's none. The next item is minutes, approving the minutes from last month.
Motion to approve.
Excuse me, November.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Next order of business is public presentations. We have none. No old business, so we're going to move right into the new business. With that being said, the first item is the resolution recommending town council adopt the 2022 comprehensive plan. John, you want to say anything about that? I know we've been working on it for 2 years.
Good morning. State law requires municipalities to update their comprehensive land use plans every 10 years. Over the last year, the commission has been working with outside consultants, stakeholders to complete a full review and rewrite of the town's 2016 plan. A primary, primary focus of this effort has been to develop a plan that is consistent with the vision plan adopted by town council and to update the plan with the latest maps and census data. To move the process forward, the commission needs to adopt the attached resolution recommending town council adopt the 2022 comprehensive land use plan.
All right, so we're voting, town council's already voted on it.
Town council has not voted on the comprehensive plan. They have voted on the next item.
Oh, okay. I jumped ahead, sorry.
This item will go to town council for first reading in February, assuming you pass the resolution. And then there will be a 30 days later, there will be a public hearing before final reading in March.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve the resolution. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Like John said, we've had quite a number of meetings over the past several years and discussions. So I think we have a pretty good plan going to council. All right, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. Next item of business is rezone, is the 2022 comprehensive land use plan.
Adoption of the ordinances.
I'm missing two. What's item number 2? Recommendation, town council to adopt the new land development zoning ordinances, sorry. I'm missing two out of my packet for some reason.
Let me also add to the last item and this item, there will be a public stakeholder meeting on January the 26th from 2 to 5 in the conference center to also hear additional comments. And the comprehensive plan is currently on our website for comments if people want to read through it and leave a comment in the email box.
Make a motion to approve? I'm sorry, I thought you were finished, John.
We're a little intimidated by this large crowd.
That comment was related to item 1 and 2 on your agenda. So,
Sorry, John.
over the last 14 months, the commission has diligently worked with staff, community stakeholders, town council, and outside consultants to fundamentally overhaul the town's land development and zoning ordinances. This process culminated with a joint work session with town council and the planning commission on November the 30th. During that meeting, there was broad support among both bodies to adopt the proposed ordinances. In fact, town council passed first reading of these ordinances at their December 6th meeting, so the pending ordinance doctrine could be applied to all new developments. To finalize this process, the commission needs to approve a formal recommendation to council to adopt these new ordinances. Now you, Mr. Harrelson, now you can make the motion.
Now,
Sorry, John. We've spent several years on this, but we do make a motion to approve.
we're a little anxious to get this
Yeah, me too.
council's hands, so, as you can tell, so we have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second, any further discussion? I guess we'll have some discussion after it goes through the stakeholders meeting at some point. And those of you that can attend.
I would assume we may have some minor tweaks after that meeting. But
All right, all in favor? Just raise your right hand. All right. I don't know why I don't have it. All right, item number 3, rezoning of Lexington County Tax Map 4335-03009, located at 402 East Butler Street. John.
Atwater and Associates has submitted a request to rezone a parcel located at 402 East Butler Street from protected residential to office commercial. The applicant is requesting to rezone the property to allow a legal office to be located on the site. Properties adjacent to this one are zoned protected residential. And there are, I'm sure, several people here on both sides of this issue would like to be heard. The one thing that I would add to my comments, in your packet, there is a uses allowed list that tells you what is allowed in office commercial zoning classification. Due to the classification of the roads in that area, that list is actually less than what's shown on here. Some of the essential services and medical, extensive or intermediate would not be allowed under office commercial. The applicants are here to discuss it as well.
All right, if you would like to come forward, please. What we'll do is let you come forward, and then we'll hear from the citizens. And being that there's so many of you, I'm sure you all share the same concern. If you could, we'd like to have a few of you speak. But if you had something different to add that someone else didn't, we'd be glad to hear from you. If that's okay. All right.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Bert Keeney. I'm the owner, and my wife and I have the 402 East Butler house. I'm going to read just what I wrote.
You stated your name. Could you also state your address, please?
Yeah, 402 East Butler Street. I'm Bert Keeney. My wife Roxanne and I purchased 402 East Butler from Sylvia Miller August 2019 in order to provide a home for our niece and our 4 of her 5 children. Even though the house had major foundational issues and old termite damage, we loved the historic character and wanted to restore it. Sylvia was so excited and wanted us to have her home, a home for a family built around 1913. It had never been sold outside of her family. We had a great bond with her and loved showing her the red roof house as we had restored it and repaired it. We also found artifacts that were her mom's and gave them to her. Before Sylvia had passed away, she brought her sister over to see the home and was very excited about the restoration. After 6 months of work, our niece and her family moved in. She lived there for about 5 months. She was not a good fit for the neighborhood, nor did she care for the old house that we had treasured. We also had many complaints from neighbors about her behavior, her children, her dogs, so we asked her to move out. The house sat vacant for 15 months. We slowly began to repair what she had destroyed. As we prayed about where to go from here, the Lord directed us to our friends, Todd and Beth Atwater. We remember that Sylvia had a hair salon in there she had ran on East Butler, so we asked the Atwaters if they wanted to use it for office space. At this time, many people were working from home due to COVID. This would be a good fit for the neighbors. Office space only, no traffic of people, no kids, no bikes, no dogs barking. It was not our intention to do anything wrong, but to care for a home, help friends, and be a good neighbor. The Atwaters moved in October of 2021. They are caring and good people. They will be good neighbors for everyone on East Butler. We love this historic old house. When our friends, the Atwaters, move, it will remain a historic home, not a business, and will remain in our family. Thank you.
All right, anybody else? Applicant?
I thank the commission for allowing us to appear today. Thank you for your service. Also want to thank Mr. Hanson and Ms. Bassett. They've been very helpful to explain this process to us. This is new to us. As stated in our zoning application, our original
Please
intent.
state your name.
Oh, I apologize. Yes, I am Beth Atwater. We reside at 2521 Feather Run Trail, but we are working out of 402 East Butler Street. As we had stated in our zoning application, our original intent was to ask for a variance. We did not know that you couldn't do that, so something learned in this process. But the reason why we were doing that was, or wanted to do that, was because of the manner in which we are using the home. We are like people who simply just work out of their house. While we are attorneys, we don't practice in the traditional sense. We're mostly government relations and business negotiations contracts. So most of our work is downtown. And so we are not open to the public. We do not have a sign. We don't invite people in. Occasionally people do come, just like they would at a normal residence, but that's it. So nevertheless, we fully understand the process here, and that this would require a rezone request. And so what we are requesting, as Mr. Hanson already stated, as office commercial, as we understand that is the most restrictive zoning designation, so that it would only permit a business such as ours, not the big retail stuff that's going to bring in traffic and all kinds of problems. Also, the change is for our lot only. We weren't asking for anyone else. What we thought was key also was that this is already a mixed-use area. When East Butler Street is bookended by Lexington Baptist and the Snell Law Firm, and the little streets that come into it, Oswald and Kraut, have commercial business or parking lot. One side of East Butler backs up to Main Street. Not trying to tell y'all things you don't know, but it just seemed already mixed use, and we certainly weren't adding any traffic or having trucks come in with deliveries or whatnot. So we just wanted to address also what the complainants had, the issues that they had raised. For your convenience, I brought, y'all may not, if I may approach. It's just what they sent out and then our response. And I think it's relevant. reason I hand these out is because they had, their first argument was that this new zoning designation would change the complexion of the neighborhood. And what we would say is that the only change in the complexion to the neighborhood is a positive one. And it's really a street, I think, more than a neighborhood, but nevertheless.
Please, let her finish. You'll have your time, please. Let her finish.
I apologize, I did not mean to offend anyone, didn't mean it that way, but nevertheless, because it's been a mixed-use area, that was our understanding. But we would say that it's been greatly improved. We've had a lot of positive comments. The historic nature of the house has been preserved, and from the outside, it only looks like a resident. It has rocking chairs, we've had wreaths, you know, the whole thing. So there's no indication whatsoever that it's anything but a residence. We just simply work inside on our phones and computers. The other thing that they disseminated was that it would make the taxes go up and that any kind of business could come in, neither of which are true. We wished somebody would have come up and asked us and talked to us about what we were doing before this happened. I've never even seen one of the complainants. I assume she's here, but I don't know. But in fact, yesterday, even some salespeople were on the street, and clearly they thought we were a residence. So there hasn't been any present impact in that way. Mr. Keeney also mentioned the prior owner, Miss Sylvia Miller, and the reason we thought it was pertinent also to bring up the fact that she did have a home business. It was a hair salon, it had a separate entrance, and it was a retail business. And the only reason we raised that issue is for two reasons: to demonstrate that we and the Keeneys thought that our rental arrangement was proper based on prior use, and also to question the sudden concern when a far more outwardly apparent business with more disruption to the street than ours, why that wasn't a problem before, and now it is. We want to make clear, though, that in raising that issue is in no way a negative comment on the town of Lexington or its employees. It was just for those 2 points. Our main issue here then is, as there is no present negative impact on the street or the neighborhood, we think that we appreciate the position you're in and how you have to make a decision on what's best for the town of Lexington and its growth. And so really the only issue that we see that applies here is future. And I think there's two things. As to future zoning, I think there was a question raised about whether rezoning this is going to make everything else easier. We don't think so. We don't see this as a legal precedent. You all have to take everything as a case-by-case basis as you determine the growth plan of Lexington, so we don't think that that is an issue. And then as to future use, Mr. Keeney's already testified, they don't plan to sell. The only reason they even rented to us as a business is our close personal friendship. They knew we had a need, and they were wanting to bless us and provide it. And we love the house, and so that the second part is we would like to stay there as long as we possibly can. We're quiet. We take pride in the appearance of the house. We value the future of Lexington and appreciate the concern of people that it be developed appropriately. But we will be a good neighbor. We have been very involved in the community already, and so we just respectfully request that you would grant this zoning change for us. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else from the applicant?
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. We'll hear from the citizens, and at this time, like I said, we know your concerns, we've heard about them. So if you could lump them in as much as one as you can, that would be great. But again, if you had something different to add, we'll be more than welcome to hear from you.
Yes, my name is Kathy Miller. I'm at 410 East Butler Street. Just two comments. I did talk to you. I approached her twice. I welcomed her into the neighborhood, stated where I was, and thought it was great. We got new people into the home. And I was surprised when she asked her when she moved in. She told me when. And then when I approached her the second time, her comment to me was, well, I didn't tell you I was staying overnight. I thought she was a resident and was welcoming her in. Number two, the lawyer's office that's down below us is facing Harmon Street. It is not on our street. And the church is facing Main Street. So they are not in our, they are part of our community, but they are not in our business. We are a family resident area. And let me approach our hall. This is the streets. That's our street, and we cannot handle traffic. Here's our homes I would like you to look at, and they are all here for you. This is our family neighborhood. So remember that when you're rezoning. Another part of the history of Lexington is being lost. If this gets resident, if this is zoned. When one house gets zoned and they move out, another one will move in because you can't change at that point. And that will allow the other neighbors to think, well, hey, let me rezone mine too. When Sylvia had her beauty parlor, her back then, we didn't have the zoning laws that we have today. We are part of the downtown historical area. You lose us, you're always talking about progress. You forget the history that Lexington has in the downtown area. You're the council members, the council that's in charge of the downtown area is reviving it for us, for the people, for our neighborhoods. We are being squeezed out. There are not too many of us are left. A lot of our homes are in the 1900s. Mine's 1910. You're losing a part of Lexington you cannot get back. It's a shame the Sox house was let go. We tried to save that. You can't get that again. Once it's gone, it's gone. We need to keep our area residential so families can feel safe. We don't have the traffic, the parking, the speeding issues. We have children at play. We have people walking their dogs. We like to enjoy the downtown area. It was made for us. We want to go to the restaurants. We want to enjoy walking down the amphitheater, which the town has built for the town, for the people. More businesses move in, less people. You're squeezing us out. We're losing our families. Please don't rezone this. Keep a little part of the historical part of Lexington intact. There's very little of us left, and we would not like this to come in. Please keep us intact.
My name is Amy Corbett. I live at 406 East Butler Street, next door to the property in question. I live there with my husband, Guy. I have 2 grown children, their spouses, and 2 grandchildren who all live in the Lexington area. I moved to this neighborhood 4 years ago when my mother-in-law, who has since passed, fell, broke her shoulder, and we needed to live in a wheelchair-accessible home. It was literally a gift. I fell in love with the house, the neighborhood, and the town of Lexington. I have invested a lot of time and money into my home, as have many of the people in this neighborhood. My next-door neighbor has spent quite a bit of money remodeling the home. He initially rented to a family member. That did not end well, and he had to completely redo the house a second time. Atwater & Associates moved into 402 East Butler Street a couple months ago. I have never been approached or been spoken to by anyone from that firm. A couple months ago, I was told by a neighbor, not Mrs. Miller, that a business was being run out of the home. They let me know that they thought it was American Leadership Academy, Lexington. If you look at the letter that was given to all of my neighbors, which you have a copy of now, they say we are not open to the public, or we do not have clients come to the house, and we do not advertise. However, if you bring up the ALA website, which is www.alaschools.org, the LAL Lexington Board meeting is 7:30 p.m. and will be held on the 3rd Monday of each month at the same time. It also gives the 402 East Butler Street address. I assume that this is only one client that this firm is representing. Mrs. Miller and I became concerned that an unknown business had moved into the house. I called the Town of Lexington and was told that the house was not zoned for a business. The Outwater and Associates firm stated in that letter mentioned previously that they intended to ask the Town of Lexington for a waiver from a zoning change. They had occupied the business for a couple months, and this was not done. If I had not called, they would have continued to run a commercial business in a residence. Which brings up the point. Why is the owner not petitioning for this change? Why is this being done by Outwater and Associates? Where is the owner in all this? And I say that because I spoke to someone who said that the petitioner should be the owner and not the renter of the property. This neighborhood is very quiet, and the beauty of it is having a historic neighborhood in the heart of Lexington. Yes, we have a church as a neighbor, and that has been a blessing and a challenge. The church has bought up several houses and is using them for a ministry, renting them to missionaries, or not using them as anything as far as I can see. Last year, they demolished a historic home, but for the most part, they are not bad neighbors. But that is different than a business. Our street is one step above an alley. It doesn't need any businesses. This will change the complexion of the neighborhood because, frankly, how do we know this will not have a domino effect? How do we know what the next rezoning request will be? How do we know what the next occupant of 402 East Butler Street will be in the future if this rezoning is allowed? Having a business next door does not contribute to this neighborhood. If you come to our neighborhood, you will see people out walking or walking their dogs or chatting in the streets. We watch over each other's property. If my neighbors are going out of town, I know it, and I'll look after things for them. But for the business next door, there is no neighborhood security. They leave every day around 6 p.m. and leave an empty building. It's kind of creepy having an empty building next door, by the way, with a security light that shines onto my front porch. It doesn't shine onto their parking lot. It shines onto my front porch every night. The owner of 402 East Butler Street has let me know multiple times that he has many other rental properties in the area. Why can't Outwater and Associates firm go to one of those? I have taken pictures of commercially zoned parcels that are available in or near the downtown area of Lexington. Why can't the Outwater and Associates firm rent one of those that are already zoned commercial? I would be happy to supply a list of at least 10 open commercial parcels within walking distance suitable for office space. Many of us work from home. That is part of the culture today. We don't run a business out of our home, but we work from our home and sleep in our homes at night. If the Outwater and Associates firm was living in our neighborhood, walking our streets, talking to neighbors, being there at night, it would be completely different. We don't know what or who the next tenant could be. This is a slippery slope for our neighborhood. Having a business there does not improve the value of our homes. We do not want to go to the way of some of the other downtown neighborhoods where we were pushed out by business. I'm asking you to keep 402 East Butler zoned residential. How would you like a business next door to your home? I do have copies and pictures of the commercial businesses that I did take pictures of that I would like to submit.
You want to just give them to John? You submitting that for the record?
I am.
I'll take it. Just submit it to John.
I'll give you the columns. They're here. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Judy Ball, B-A-L-L. I live at 207 Eford Street. While the ladies that have spoken before me did very eloquently, my main concern is not, well, in reading some of the zoning laws here for the town of Lexington, according to the classification of uses, the limited commercial designation is to allow businesses to benefit public health, safety, and general welfare. How does this fit in with that? It says that the person or patrons or clientele would not be served on the premises. What guarantees do we have for this? After hearing them speak this morning, I'm not so much concerned about their business, but it's what happens when they move on. My family, I'm the 6th generation of my family to live in this area. 6 generations have lived on Eford Street, which is around the corner from this specific site. My mother was born in the house that I live in. My children played on the streets the same as my mother did, the way my grandparents, my great-grandparents, and my great-great-grandparents lived their lives. I don't want to see that harmed. I'd like to see future generations be able to continue to live in that neighborhood, walk the streets, play with their pets, their neighbors. We have a fantastic neighborhood. Again, I'm very concerned what this may do in the future when this particular business leaves. As mentioned before, I have concerns as to how a business is currently operating in a residential home in the town of Lexington without this zoning change. Did they acquire a business license? If so, how did they get a business license to be in a building that is not zoned for business? Please think about our future. We have so few homes left in our area. I've lived in my house for 39 years. When we moved in, there were 8 homes on our street. We're down to 3, and one of those is empty. So I would like to see preservation of our neighborhood because we've been there for many, many years. Matter of fact, some of our homes were some of the first homes built in the town of Lexington. So please take this into consideration as you make your decision. Thank you.
All righty. Yes, sir, Mr. Hanson.
John, you got another?
Got one more behind you.
We're going to let you speak. Just one more.
Just have 2 things I want to clarify.
Okay, do we clarify?
I'll be brief. I'm Martha Hanks. I live at 504 East Butler Street. I also own the property with my husband of 508 East Butler Street, which is in the center of the street. I call our neighborhood Factory Hill. That's my derivation of where we are, and that references the old mill, which was originally the Lexington Manufacturing Company. The lots on which our property were built is Factory Hill Lot 18, 19, and 20, which speaks to the historical nature of our neighborhood. As you know, all of South Carolina had a great many cotton mills, and our cotton mill down the hill, the old mill, was no exception to the way that the neighborhood was formed, the mill villages, and our neighborhood was part of that. Now I'm going to just reference the 2022 comprehensive plan that you all worked so hard on, you and other volunteers in the city, the town council, and the staff. It already states there that the intent of the town of Lexington's council is to maintain historic properties in the triangle. And if you look at the future land use map that is part of the document that you approved to go to council today, it already states that the triangle area should be preserved in its historic nature. You envision that the neighborhoods within the triangle, this is on page 68 of the plan, the neighborhoods within the triangle should be representative of the original development pattern of the town and the growth of the historic and older neighborhoods. So I commend the commission and all involved on this plan to preserve neighborhoods like Factory Hill. We've had a couple of block parties of the 3 streets, Eford, Krebs, and East Butler. We've involved the police department has been there, representatives, Cameron Mortensen has been there. So we are a neighborhood, and we're very interested in maintaining the historic nature of that neighborhood. There are 36 homes in the neighborhood occupied. Actually occupied, there are 33 because 3 of them are owned by the church. And when the missionaries come to what we call the missionary house there on East Butler, we welcome them as neighbors too. They were, in fact, given invocations at our block party. 1/3 of those homes, 1/3 of those 36 are over 100 years old. And 2/3 of those homes are owner occupied. So there's no question that Atwater and Associates does great business for South Carolina, for the governments and businesses for whom they represent. And there's no question that Mr. Keeney's restoration of the home has been exceptional. And it's a welcoming, his front porch is a welcoming invitation at the top of Factory Hill on East Butler. But I urge the Planning Commission to recommend to Town Council to deny the zoning request and assist the current business to find a more suitable location that exists, probably within walking distance to Main Street, unless 402 East Butler Street remains protected residential. The front porch renovation with its rocking chairs and its inviting nature is merely a historical facade, as the real historical benefit of the property has been to provide a home for residents of the city of Lexington. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Joreen DeSalle, and I own 501 East Butler Street, and my mother also owns 2 properties on East Butler Street. I live in what's now designated the what I call the hysterical neighborhood over near the museum. I've lived at 501 East Butler Street, though, for 42 years. And it tells how little you don't know about our neighborhood, but you don't think it's a neighborhood.
Ma'am, if you would, please address
That it's just a street. I know my neighbors over there. I don't want anything to happen to the neighborhood. So the council knows that neighborhood, not where the museum is the oldest continuing residential neighborhood in the town of Lexington. That neighborhood has lost 15 houses since I have lived there in the last 42 years for the glorification of a parking lot, and they even tore down houses that couldn't be used for parking. It is a residential neighborhood. Look what has happened to the other side of Main Street. When one of the mill houses went commercial, they all went commercial. You can say you can stop that. It's not progress. It's taking us back. Think of everything that's missing in Lexington now for the good of progress. Look at the traffic in Lexington for the good of progress. Something needs to be saved. You can save Main Street. You can save East Butler Street.
All right, John, you want to make some clarifications? I think you and I picked up on one.
Excuse me, I just wanted to make sure 2 comments that were made that we're clear on. The request is for a change from protected residential to office commercial. One of the people said it limited commercial. That's a different classification that allows different things. And then the second thing was there was a comment about why was the property owner not being the applicant. If you look at the application that's in your packet, the applicant is Atwater and Associates, but it also has the property owner information on it, and it has the property owner's signature. That's required for anyone to request a rezoning. This is not a debate.
This is, ma'am.
I just had a question, that's all.
We gotta take up the matter when we get to.
Okay, I just have a quick question. How can, my question, when I first bought the house, I even talked to him, but the question I have is, how can they move in without a permit to fix the house, but how can the business move in? That's all I'm asking. We would just like to know.
That's not for this body to be able to, we we don't issue occupancy permits.
We can discuss that after the meeting.
And I'm gonna call a question and comment section. I'm gonna close that now. We're gonna move forward, because we heard from each side and we've gotten both sides. I think we got a pretty good understanding of where each party stands. So at this time, I'm gonna ask this body we have a recommendation for council. Don't everybody speak at once.
I make a motion to decline reclassification, leave it as PR2.
All right, I have a motion to leave as PR2.
A second.
PR.
Protected residential.
I'm sorry, PR, excuse me.
A second.
We have a second. Do we have any discussion? Anybody want to say anything from the commission?
Chairman, I'd like to say one thing, and the folks in the audience brought this up, and I have great respect for the Atwater family. I think the main concern is what happens if they were to move on. And we can't do a conditional zoning where it switches back to what it was previously. So I just wanted to make that point. It's just a concern about what happens down the road if something changes.
And I'm going to back that up and say that is my concern as well. The chairman before myself, Keith Frost, we were very adamant about how do we protect the residential that we do have in the town. And this property is what I call on the line of being commercial versus residential. And I did ride the property. I ride every property that comes up on our agenda, but I did ride it. I understand your concern about the streets and the safety and the traffic, and they are very narrow. Again, that's where I stand as well. So, anybody else? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed? It is unanimous. It's a recommendation to council to stay at protected residential.
We want to take a 2-minute recess.
We're going to take a 2-minute recess.
In case anybody wants
Come
to.
back and handle the last 2 items on the agenda. Ready to, we're back to live? All right, we're going to move on to item number 4, which is sketch plan approval of new subdivision located at 112 Maxey Road. John?
We're going to run through this item, but there's no one here from the applicant, so I don't know whether you all will want to defer it, or...
I think we're going.
We've got a lot of questions we would like to ask, so we can, if they're not here to defend it, if we draw it, then I think we make a recommendation to move forward with it. Unless you think differently, Mr. Hanson. Brad, am I out of line with that?
No.
I mean,
You could move forward, or you could delay it.
Yeah,
to
yes,
a
you're-
month. Either or both are options available to you.
don't they have the 30-day to make a decision on?
Is it 30 or 90?
30.
Yeah, I believe it's 30.
So they could have, they would just have to deny it and then have it resubmitted for next month.
Yeah, well, but I think.
Unless you're going to approve it.
Without them present, I think you can deny it because you've got questions.
Right.
Correct.
Information, yeah.
You want to present the project, and then we'll just go through our normal routine, or?
Sure. Civil Engineering of Columbia is requesting sketch plan approval for a new subdivision being planned on 6.5 acres located at 112 Maxey Road. The proposal consists of 26 townhomes. The allowable density of residential development is determined by the zoning classification of the property. If the property is annexed with PR2 zoning, the allowable density would be 8 units per acre. This development will have 3.9. Sorry, it's you or me? This development will have 3.9 units per acre. To be compliant with the zoning ordinance, the property must be annexed with PR2 zoning. Properties with this classification do not have a minimum lot size as long as the homes can meet the setback and driveway requirements. The project meets the setback requirements with 25-foot front setbacks, 20-foot rear setbacks, and 6-foot setbacks between buildings. The land development ordinance requires 20% of the site to be reserved as open space, with 50% of that space being improved active recreation space. Using this calculation, the project needs 1.3 acres of open space and at least 0.65 acres of active open space. This project has been proposed to have 1.97 acres of open space with a walking trail that will encompass 1.07. Staff advised the applicant that a walking trail may not meet the developed recreation amenities requirement, but if approved, the trail would need to be a 10-foot wide multi-use path paved with asphalt or concrete and at least 10 feet of cleared area on both sides. Staff also requested a more detailed breakdown of the open space calculations provided on this plan to verify the calculations that they've submitted. We did not get that. Access to the development is proposed to occur through a single entrance from Maxey Road. Several months ago, the applicants conceptually agreed with staff to complete preliminary work to improve the intersection of Maxey Road and Old Chapin Road. This intersection is identified in the town's long-range transportation improvement plan as one that needs improvement, and those improvements are shown on the site plan that you have in front of you. Although the applicants have confirmed that each unit will have 4 parking spaces, it is unclear whether these spaces will meet the size requirements. Guest parking also has not been included in the plan, as we've become customary for this type of development. The commission should consider whether sidewalk along the perimeter of the project should be included in it.
And for the record, the applicant is not in the room to address our comments. So with that being the case.
Mr. Chairman, would you also ask if he was invited and given the date and time of this meeting?
Was the applicant, for the record, was the applicant given during timely notice of the meeting and invited to attend?
Yes.
So with that.
The same applicant was here at the November meeting, so I mean, they know when the planning commission meetings are, so.
January the 10th via email.
All right. Do I have a recommendation to council?
This is a recommendation on site plan.
I'm recommendation on site plan. I'm getting ahead of myself.
I make a motion to decline as we have questions that need to be answered, and we can't, I can't approve it as written, stated.
We have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Motion and a second. I have a question. Can he come back? Can they come back next month, or they have to wait a time period before they can come back?
They can come back next month.
It's 30 days.
All right. All in favor, please raise your right hand.
It's a sketch plan approval.
No, that's for the zone.
Motion is denied, or sketch plan approval is denied.
I'm going to assume that item 5 on your agenda is moot at this point, because the subdivision has just been denied, so we don't know that the.
We're checking the timeline on that. I believe it's got a longer timeline, so they probably could, we're waiting to get verification, but they probably could table the rezone or the annexation request. They probably could table that and still have time to hear it rather than deny it. Because they're not denying it. When you make a motion, you're not actually denying it. You are making a recommendation for denial that would then go to council automatically. So it would be better to delay that if we can. And if we've got just a minute while we look that up, we're trying to find that.
Okay. Typically, when a project is denied, then the applicant doesn't want to move forward with the annexation, so.
Sure, but they're not here to deny or to request that.
Well, the action request is sketch plan approval, which is
next
30
item is the-
days.
The next item is the annexation.
have an application for annexation. Was the annexation contingent upon the sketch plan approval?
We've always allowed the applicants to withdraw it if they don't get it, but technically it's not connected. Because you can ask for annexation, even if you're not doing a project. I believe it's 60 days, and I think we have time, but I'm just hoping we get some verification on that.
Well, if we denied or did not approve the sketch plan, we could not approve recommendation of zoning.
You certainly can.
For this time, they could bring it all back, correct?
You can, but it would go to council with a denial recommendation.
And then possibly come back with council as I got you.
Yeah, and so it would be a little bit cleaner if we could delay that one item.
It's got to have 3 readings, right?
Two, yeah.
Well, while we're waiting on that, Mr. Williams, good to see you this morning.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and let you get your part taken care of.
Awesome. So join us at the Ice House Amphitheater Pavilion on February the 20th from noon to 5 p.m. for the annual Lexington County Chili Cook-Off. There'll be music and the band from Under the Sun. Admission is $10 for adults, $5 for children 5 to 12, and free for those 4 and under. If you want to register a team to participate in the competition, please contact John at oldmillbrewpub.net. That's John at oldmillbrewpub.net. The annual St. Patrick's Day Parade and concert is on March the 12th. The parade starts at 2 p.m. down Main Street, and there will be music before and after at the Ice House Amphitheater. The Spring Lexington Live Concert Series presented by Nephron Pharmaceuticals will start on the first Thursday in April and will continue each Thursday through the end of May. The shows are free, and you can follow along the town's Facebook page where the bands for each week will be announced. I'd like to thank you guys for all your hard work on the comprehensive plan. I know staff has worked extremely hard on it. John has spent a lot of time on it. Y'all have spent a lot of nights up here and a lot of time up here. And council does appreciate y'all's effort to get this right. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Y'all do need to make a recommendation one way or the other. It's 30 days, not 60.
Item number 5, annexation of Lexington County Tax Map 4300040044, located on 112 Maxey Road. John?
Jeff Lacey owns 6.5 acres located at 112 Maxey Road and is petitioning to annex the property. A 26-unit townhome subdivision is being planned on the site. Properties in town near this one are zoned protected residential 2. Maxey Road is not currently classified. For the project proposed on this site to be compliant with the zoning ordinance, the property will need to be annexed with PR2 zoning. Recommended classification of Maxey Road is a local road.
Do I have a recommendation for zoning classification or excuse me, for annexation of this property?
Make a motion to decline annexation of the property.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Now, I know it's going to go for first reading, but if they come back and it comes, how is that going to?
So my recommendation to council will be table it. While you have a timeline, council does not. So you have to make a recommendation within that specific time. They can take 6 months, and there's no redress in the law. So I'll talk to them and ask them to table it, and then that'll give you an extra month to hear it. You can modify your recommendation if you choose to.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed? It is unanimous. Mr. Brewer, do you have anything to add?
Actually, I do. I want to say thank you to this body because I know what you went through with the comprehensive plan, the zoning and land use plan, and it's not done yet. We still have public hearings and everything, but it's been going on nearly 2 years. It's almost done, and I know the time and effort that you guys put into it, and I know I speak for council as well in saying thank you for this volunteer body to put that kind of time and effort into something that's very important for the town. And, but regardless, it was a lot of effort, and so thank you.
You're welcome. We all love living here. So it's nice to be able to have a part and say what happens here. So, have any other comments? Hearing none, I'll move to close. Do I have a motion? To close,
Motion to adjourn?
adjourn, I'm sorry, not close. Second?
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Thank you for watching the Town of Lexington Planning Commission. This meeting was held at Town Hall at 8 a.m. Wednesday, January 19th, 2022. A recording of this meeting will be aired several times during the week on the town's information channel 1301. And it can be viewed online at the Town of Lexington website. On behalf of the Town of Lexington Planning Commission and staff, I wish you a good day.